In this video, I'm going to be discussing some of the difficulties and struggles as a person with a disability. Hey everyone, this is Matt. Welcome back to another Blind to Billionaire video. If you're new here, please consider hitting the subscribe button. But hey, real quick, I just want to preface this video by saying I completely understand that there are so many different disabilities out there and the severity of all these different disabilities. So I don't want to act like I know what it's like for all these different people because I don't. I'm just recording this video from the perspective of a blind person. So also, I just want to mention, there are so many different struggles and difficulties out there pertaining to people with disabilities. So I'm just only going to hit on a few of these because literally this could be like a 4-hour video of just going through all the different scenarios. This could literally be like a multi-part series video. But anyway, I just want to hit on a few from, like I said, my perspective as a blind person. So number one, relying on other people. Now, I get it. I like to tell people that I'm fully functioning with the exception of my vision. So if I meet somebody new, that's usually my line to them. I like to say I'm fully functioning with the exception of my vision because that's true. For the most part, I would say that I'm mostly fully functioning, but my vision does not allow me to do some things. Now, I like to be as independent as I possibly can, but for some things, I definitely need assistance. And I think as humans, we want to be as independent and have as much freedom as we can. So when we lose some of that independence, it definitely can be really tough. One instance that comes to mind all the time when I think of this is, so I'm currently 35 right now, and I stopped driving. So I had my driver's license for a few years until I was about 21 or so, something like that. So I haven't operated a vehicle in like 14 years. So I remember that day when I kind of made the decision alongside my parents that I was no longer going to be driving. And I just remember that feeling of like, this is it. Like my freedom, my independence is just literally being taken from me right now. And I realized that sounds really extreme, but in the mind of a 21-year-old for me at the time, that was really tough for me because I just felt like this is my way of having freedom and independence. I can get in my vehicle and drive, but at the same time, I also knew like it's not safe for me to be driving anymore. So I really probably shouldn't be doing this. But that's one thing. Just the loss of freedom and independence is really tough for me. But of course, I know there's a lot of people out there who have disabilities and can still drive, which is amazing. But for me, as someone without vision, probably shouldn't be on the road until we have self-driving vehicles. So that's just one instance that I can think of where I rely on other people because I don't drive anymore. So I rely on people like my parents or Corey, my wife, to do the driving. And although it's nice sometimes to just kind of sit back and be the passenger, but at the same time, I don't have the freedom to just walk outside, get in my car, and just drive away. So that's one instance. Another instance would be relying on other people. Like, for example, Corey and I were working on a project here. It required some work on the computer. Well, since I can't use my computer independently, I have not gone through the technology training to navigate a computer independently. I use my iPhone by myself because I have voiceover on that, but I haven't gone through the training yet to use my PC independently. So I rely on Corey to help me do all my computer work. And it's tough for her because she's not really like a computer person to do all that computer work. So it can be really frustrating for her when I'm trying to tell her I need this done and this done, and I'm kind of sitting there trying to point my finger with, the little bit of information that I have and trying to tell her what to do. And so I would say those are just a couple instances. Of course, there are so many other ones. But I want to get into more. I don't want to make this like a really long video, but I want to get into a couple other examples of some of the difficulties and struggles of someone with a disability. But anyway, another one would be dating. Now, I'm married now, so I don't really do the whole dating thing anymore, and I haven't for quite a few years. But back in the day, not that many years ago, like 6 years ago or whatever it was, before Corey and I met, I would say that dating as a disabled person was somewhat difficult. Now, again, I don't want to say this is true for everybody because it's definitely not. But for me, it was really tough because, again, I don't drive. I need some assistance kind of getting around because I can't see. If we went out to a restaurant and it came time to like order something, I couldn't read the menu because I couldn't see it. So that made it difficult. There were instances where maybe we'd be at dinner or somewhere and I'd reach out for my glass and I didn't see it and I'd tip it over. I mean, that's really embarrassing. So, instances like that, it's definitely, it's tough. I mean, it's certainly a struggle trying to meet somebody and have a great first impression, and there you go, you can't read the menu, tipping glasses over. Oh, by the way, hop in my car. Just kidding, I don't have a car. We can ride my bike. But anyway, that's another instance. One other one would be social gatherings. Social gatherings and making friends. I'll kind of clump those together because I'm going to be completely honest with you. As someone, for me, I'll be honest. Outside of YouTube, I don't really have any friends. I would consider all of you here on YouTube to be pretty good friends. I've gotten to know quite a few of you pretty well, and it's been a lot of fun connecting with you through the comments section. And I would say like all of you here are amazing people and great friends. But outside of this, I honestly don't have friends. I can't even say I have people that I call acquaintances outside of family. So socializing and maybe like meeting new friends can be really tough as a person with a disability. For whatever your affliction is, it can be really tough getting out there, kind of putting yourself out there and just meeting those new people and being accepted. And now I realize a lot of people will think like, oh, it's pretty low of a person not to accept somebody because they have a disability, but I'm just telling you the truth. I mean, that's like the fact. I mean, it can be tough out there in the world, and people, rather than getting to know us all the time, sometimes they judge us by like judging a book by its cover, which is really unfortunate sometimes. And like I don't know, back a few years ago when I was like going back to the dating example, when I would meet people, so let me just back up a second. I would meet people typically online first. That's kind of how I did it because I had to. That was how I met people. But I would allow a person to get to know me as a person. Like, what do I have to offer outside of my visual impairment, my blindness, before I would actually tell that person that? Because I wanted someone to actually get to know me as a person before I actually tell them. Now, there's some controversy whether that is ethical or not, but that was just my strategy because I thought I have so much more to offer than to say, like, to start out a conversation and be like, oh yeah, I can't see. So do you want to like hang out with me? I don't know. But anyway, that's, I don't know, one example. So another thing too is I find this really tough and it's really annoying to me, but this actually just happened the other day. As someone like me, and I don't know if this happens to other people, I know it happens to a lot of us in the blind and visually impaired community, and this is so frustrating, but people, for example, when we meet somebody, they will come up to us and they'll be wanting to talk to me specifically, but they'll actually address the person I'm with. So for example, the situation we had the other day is Corey and I were out for a walk. We ran into a couple people we've never met, we never knew them, but somehow we started talking to them. And they were talking to Corey like on my behalf, like asking Corey like, oh, can he see? Like they would ask Corey like, can he see? And I'd be like, no, I'm blind. And then they would ask Corey like, oh, does he play any sports? Does he drive? I'm just just giving you examples. And then I would have to jump in and be like, no. So I don't know if that happens to other people in these communities, but I just find it to be so frustrating that like somebody talks to the person I'm with on my behalf as if like that person is my caregiver. So again, I know it happens to a lot of people in the blind and visually impaired community, which is really frustrating. I've actually made a few other videos talking about that, but I don't know why that is. I mean, that's going back to one of the first things I said in this video, which was I like to tell people that I'm fully functioning with the exception of my vision because I feel like I am. I feel like I can do just about anything else, but my vision is definitely my limitation. So what can we do about this? Now, when I created this YouTube channel, it was a little over 2 years ago. It was actually on April 7th of 2018 is when I uploaded my very first video. If you want to see the worst YouTube video in the world, scroll back and check that out. It is really bad, but I leave it up as a reminder of where I came from. So anybody, if you want, you can scroll back and check out some of my earliest videos. They are the worst videos you've ever seen, but I like to keep it up for encouragement, not only for me to look back sometimes, but for other people who are considering getting into YouTube. I always just like to tell people, just start recording videos and get comfortable in front of the camera. Anyway, I don't know how I just digressed from that, from my conversation, but yeah, basically I just want to say, when I started this YouTube channel, I didn't know what I was doing, what I wanted. All I knew is that I wanted a YouTube channel. Well, eventually the channel progressed and it evolved into a channel talking about like visual impairment, blindness, things like that for quite a while. About a year and a half, we did that type of content. And I mean, obviously we're still doing it. I'm still doing this video now. But you know, obviously my content has changed a little bit lately. But my point is, the whole purpose behind this channel was to create like a safe community where people who are blind or visually impaired can come, hang out, talk, get to know us through these videos, through the comment section, through emails, through live streams, whatever it is. And just have like a really safe place where you can come and just hang out and recognize like, hey, everybody else here is somewhat in the same position. Of course, we don't know what it's like for everybody else here, but we can relate in some ways. All of us are disabled to some degree, whether we have visual impairments or other disabilities. It doesn't matter to me at all. All I want to say is like this community is just a really awesome place where all of us can connect and just talk to each other and give each other our support and motivation and just whatever we need. So all I want to say is basically, I'm here for you guys. For any reason, if you have anything, if you want to talk about anything, feel free to leave a comment down below. If you want to talk to me more privately, you're welcome to send me an email, although it does take me a little while to respond. I definitely do respond back to everybody, and that's just been my commitment from the very start, which was just like, I'm always here for you to talk through these difficult times. Because realistically, this channel, by talking through some of these struggles and difficulties through this channel, it has really helped me kind of understand and kind of more work through my vision loss over the last couple of years. So this channel has helped me a ton, and in return, I continue telling everybody like I'm here for you in any way that I can be to help you as well. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I'm just rambling about that, but yeah, so just recognize I'm always here for you, and this is a completely unscripted video, as you can probably tell, because I literally like have no idea what I'm saying, it feels like, but I'm literally just talking because I thought, you know what, there's a lot of people out there who kind of really need this type of community, and I just wanted to sit this video out there just to let you know, like, I'm still here for you. So even though my content has changed a little bit lately, I want you to know that, I mean, this community still exists, and I'm still here for you regardless of the content that I'm creating. So I hope this makes sense to some degree. Like I said, this could be literally like a 10-part series video because there are so many different disabilities out there, struggles, difficulties, but either way, it's an awesome community, and I really appreciate all of you being here. So thanks so much for watching this, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Thanks so much. See ya.